I'll just wet the whistle. Okay, let's do this. Hi guys, welcome to Inside the Pages podcast, episode 1. This is so nerve-wracking. This is scary. This is probably going to be one of the only actually solo episodes I think I'm going to do, because this podcast is all about bringing guests on and talking to other people about their journeys, their lives. We're going to deep dive into fitness professionals, content creators, nutritionists. We're going to deep dive into pretty much everything here on this podcast, which I'm super excited for because you guys know I'm a yapper and I love to learn about people and different things. And this is what that podcast is going to be about. So I'm so excited. I've always wanted to start a podcast and I feel like this suits my yapping personality very well, actually. I'm really excited to be bringing you a podcast to your ears and to your eyes. We have recorded some really good guest episodes already, so I'm super excited to release them after this episode. But I thought I'd actually start the podcast with an episode with just myself and introducing myself, even though it's something I actually don't like doing, which probably will surprise a lot of people because they're like, oh, you enjoy talking so much. But I'm sorry, introducing yourself or like talking to yourself about someone is one of the most nerve-wracking things I think ever. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and break that barrier and that nervousness that I've got of talking about myself. Some of you guys will probably know me from social media. Probably everyone knows me from social media. Paige Dana, and my journey actually started as Paige's Fit Food page. If you're a big OG, I'm going to talk about a bit of how I got into social media and also just how I also got into fitness, because that is my niche at the end of the day. So I'm going to talk about how I've got to where I am now in both my fitness profession and also my content creator and my job as well. Let's throw it back a little bit and let's go back to like my upbringing in sport, because that is also something we're going to deep dive when we have guests on the podcast. We're going to deep dive into like their upbringing and how have they got to where they are today. So I'm going to do it to myself. I was never a sporty kid. I was never into sport. I was someone that would skip PE if I could. We were one of the only high schools that had a swimming pool where we were and where I grew up. I grew up in a small town back in Harrogate. We were one of the schools that had a swimming pool, and we were actually known as a sports college, which is funny because I wasn't into sports at the time. I was someone that always would skip PE. Running was never on the scene for me when I was younger. I played football every weekend. I played for a team. I played for Harrogate Railway growing up, probably from the ages of around 6 or 7 till I was probably like 12 or 13. So football was kind of my sport, and that's kind of the only running I did growing up. But I didn't really see it as running because I was playing football at the time. I just played like a friendly leagues with football, but that's kind of the only thing I did. I still skipped PE because I didn't enjoy it being at school. We actually had the option of choosing dance and PE at school. So I chose dance because I definitely didn't want to do PE. That's when I then got thrown into dance, and it was very different. And I kind of found this passion for dance whilst in high school. I was kind of like, I actually really enjoy this. And this, I could see myself doing something in musical theatre, in dance when I'm a bit older. So I was like, I actually might take this a little bit more seriously than any other subjects here at high school. That's when I also started to attend like out of school dance lessons as well. If anyone did dance growing up, you know, you do your grades, you do all your grades in modern, jazz, tap, ballet. And that's what I ended up doing. I like did loads of grades in my modern, in my tap and in my ballet. I did all my IDTA exams. And yeah, I found like this big passion for dance, which wasn't really there when I was growing up, like at a young age, which sounds crazy because people that go into dance after high school tend to grow up with dance from like a really young age, are like thrown into ballet at like 2-3 years old. Like you're dancing before you can walk if you're going into dance. I kind of found this love for dance like really early on in high school. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't bad at it. Like I I don't want to say like, oh, I was really good at it, but like I actually wasn't bad at it. And I thought, oh, maybe I could, take this somewhere else. And it was something I really enjoyed doing because I was not academic in the slightest at all. In fact, I was not academic. Through high school, obviously found this passion. And then leaving high school, I jumped straight into dance and I was like, I really want to go to a dance college and I really want to pursue this as a career. So straight after high school, I was auditioning for all the dance colleges, London dance colleges, and also Midlands and North dance colleges. I got offered a place at a dance college up north, and it was a foundation year, and it was also to do 3 years professional and musical theatre. So I was like, look, go hard or go home, let's do this. And yeah, I did 4 years at professional dance college in musical theatre. I did all the dance there, and it was a lot. Like, dance college was a lot, and I believe it's what has shaped me into who I am today, which I'm super grateful for. But also, like, it was a lot, like mentally, physically. We were dancing like 10 to 12 hours a day. We're being shouted at. There's a lot of pressure on dancers, which I'm sure a lot of people know about. Like, our days were from like 8 a.m, the doors were locked, and then like some days leaving at like earliest 6 o'clock, and then latest probably around like 7:30, 8 o'clock when we have like shows on and when we have rehearsals on and things. So it was a lot. However, yeah, like I said, I'm really grateful for the opportunity for that because it has shaped me into who I am today. I learned a lot of discipline, which is why I think I am so disciplined today. I also made like friends for life there as well, which I'm so grateful for because it was such a, I don't want to say like a traumatic experience, but like dance college, like we did it together, like those hard lessons and like those lessons where we're getting screamed at. It was so special to have a group of friends that we all got through it together and we all got each other through it together. We are now like friends for life, and because we've gone through that, like we graduated college, maybe I want to say like nearly 5 years ago we graduated, and we still laugh about it today. All we talk about are jokes about dance college now, and it's just so funny to look back on. That experience was a lot, and it has shaped me into who I am today. So yeah, graduated in 2021 from dance college. From my second year, a lot of it was then in lockdown and in COVID, so a lot of dance lessons were done in my kitchen at home, and then obviously when we could return to socialising and things, we were back in college for our final year. Graduated from dance college, and from there I knew I didn't want to go into dance, which sounds really sad because dance college made me hate dance, and I think that is the case for a lot of people, that dance college really does suck the life out of dance for you. So I knew from the third year, I was like, that is not something I want to jump into. I didn't want to be in the industry. I don't want to be in an audition room. I don't want to do anything. And also, you do learn that when you're in dance college that you don't want to do it anymore. I think like you get into your third year and you're like, yeah, no, I can't see myself in this industry. But you just push through anyway because you want to graduate. You're with your friends, you've already done 3 years, so you need to do this last year. I graduated knowing that I didn't want to go into dance, and from then, I mean, it was a weird time anyway, right, with COVID, not knowing, can we go to auditions and can we go to dance classes and things after college? So it was a very weird time anyway when we did graduate. I graduated in 2021, and then from there, I was like, I think I want to go into fitness still. We did a lot of fitness at dance college. We did a lot of cardio classes. We did a lot of gym sessions. And that is something that felt like a bit of an escape at dance college. Like, it felt like I was still being part of dance, but also not at the same time. So I knew I wanted to go into fitness. Before I graduated, I actually got my PT qualification, which is how I then fell into fitness. Graduated, and I jumped straight into a job in a gym, and I just worked on a gym floor for like 2 years and just, yeah, learning the ropes. I did PT sessions, I did online coaching, I did group sessions, I just worked in like a local gym. My favourite classes ever were with the older ladies. We had like a elderly ladies class with like a 65 plus class, and it was so good. You just get to meet so many different people, and like, yeah, it was just so good, just showing people around the gym. And I loved the fact that like people were coming to the gym that weren't confident in the gym or had never stepped foot in a gym before. And I was like showing them the ropes of like how it all worked and how you can enjoy fitness. And that's where I really found my passion, was on the gym floor. And I was like, this is so cool. I worked there for 2 years. And then that is when I also started taking content creation a little bit more seriously along the side, because it kind of went hand in hand at the time, because fitness on social media started to become like a really big thing. And I was also doing online coaching. This kind of makes sense for me to start posting a bit more on social media. So I started posting on social media, and I actually started posting more about my nutrition than fitness. So I started out as pretty much a food page, like a fitness health food page, because I realized that nutrition was something that, you know, a lot of people weren't learning about on social media. The account was called Paiges Fit Food Page. Again, if any OGs remember that page. And started posting, about food, a lot about baked oats, a lot about porridge. And that's when my account started to grow a little bit more. And then I kind of just started to share more about myself as I got a bit more confident. I met Danny in college as well. And after having my account for about a year, Danny was like, oh, just take it off private. I didn't want anyone to find it. But he was like, just take it off private. And even if people you know do see it, it's going to be fine. They're not going to say anything. Just do it. And Danny pushing me to do that is the reason why I am here today, because if I didn't have that confidence boost I needed, I would still be on private, and I definitely wouldn't be in content creation at all. So I took my account off private. I was still working at the gym at the time and started to gain a few more followers. Again, posting food stuff, started to post a little bit more about myself. And then when my account kind of grew, I kind of hit like 10k, and some brands started to reach out, and I got myself a manager to help me manage like brand work and things on my social media whilst I was still working in a gym, because I just couldn't balance both myself. And then I was invited to my first ever brand event, and it was with Nush, and it's still a brand I post about today. So I'm so grateful that it's still a brand I can preach about, and a brand that helped me get me where I am today. So got invited to this event, and it was down in London, and I was living in Leeds at the time. And I was like, do I go? It is a bit of a trek. But some creators that I actually followed on Instagram and looked up to were going, and I was like, oh, I want to go. I want to mingle. I want to get in this scene with other content creators. So off I went to this Nush event. Just one random, I think it was like a Thursday night. One random Thursday night. Took the day off work at the gym, and I went down. And it was an event in Shoreditch. It was a great event, met all the content creators, and when I was there, everyone was like, I live in London, I'm from London, I come to these events, etc. all the time. I've got an event tomorrow. And I was like, that is so cool. I was like, the fact that they live in the city. London was just like this big place for me that I rarely ever visit, and I knew people weren't more successful down there, but I knew people were doing more down there because of the access that they had. I was like, that's really cool. And then on the way home from that event, like something in my brain switched, and I was like, why don't I live in London? Like what's serving me here? What's serving me more in Leeds than it would be down in London? Like, surely I could do my gym job down there and still have access to grow my socials and go to brand events and things. And I was like, like why stay up here, Paige? Like, you literally, 21? You might as well just go, and you can always move back home. That is like the most important thing, and something I just completely had to remember doing this big transition, moving from Leeds to London, was you can just move back home whenever you want. If it doesn't work out, you can go back home, go back to your safety blanket, move back in with your family, like, just try it. So, after living in Leeds, I came back and I said to Danny, literally that night of the event, I think I want to move to London. And we'd literally just signed a new lease on a flat. We'd been in it for 8 weeks, and we'd signed for 12 months. And Danny looked at me and like, he was also getting his PT qualification at the time, knew he wanted to go into fitness. And he looked at me and he was like, why not? Why don't we just go try it? Which, I didn't expect him to say. So when he said that then boosted me even more to be like, fuck it, let's just move. Why don't we move? Nothing is serving us here, so let's just move and see if we can grow ourselves as a brand down in London. And because Danny said that, I don't know, it just boosted me a little bit more because I wasn't going to go if Danny wasn't going to go. So Danny had been working at Nike for 7 years, 8 years maybe, and he was getting his PT qualification at the time. And I was like, you could just jump straight into a gym job down in London when we go. So we literally the next day contacted the landlord, contacted the estate agents, and we were like, we need to get out of this contract. We're like, I know it's 12 months, and I know we've only been here 8 weeks, but we're packing up our bags and we're going to London. We did kind of lie. We were like, there's a job opportunity come up. So paid a big fat fee to get out of this contract and packed our bags up. And within 3 weeks, we were on that train going down to London, which was the scariest thing ever because we hadn't found a flat in London. We hadn't found anywhere to live. We'd booked an Airbnb for 2 weeks and we were like, we need to find somewhere to live in those 2 weeks. And looking back, this is so rogue of us. Like I can't even explain how crazy that was, that we just booked a one-way train ticket. We had 4 suitcases and we jumped on this train down to London. It's 3 hours from my hometown. And yeah, we'd booked an Airbnb. The day of moving down to London, we had someone message us from Spare Room. I have an apartment you guys can have for 6 months. So long story short, we did find an apartment and we didn't know anything about London. It was in the roughest area of London ever. I cannot explain the things that went on in that area. It was crazy, but we went straight there. And bearing in mind, I'd come from this nice hometown, Harrogate, and I was coming down to London to live in the roughest area of London I've ever seen, ever experienced, and still won't go there today. It was crazy, and that's when we started questioning, oh my goodness, is this the right thing? So we got on that train, went down, jumped in a black cab with our 4 suitcases. The Spare Room guy had sent us the address of the apartment and we just showed it to the taxi driver. Can you just take us there? Yeah, but bearing in mind again, we know nothing about London. We rocked up to this apartment quickly to realise it was a very rough place. And we were like looking around like, shit, what have we done here? And yeah, we'd signed a 6-month contract already. Let's just ride it out. Within the first week, me and Danny had secured jobs in a gym. So that was great. We can pay rent. We've got a job. And then that's when I just started taking content creation a little bit more seriously. Being in London meant I had access to meeting people, going places, trying new things. And I just started creating content more about my life and about my fitness journey than food. And that's when it opened me up to all these opportunities with brands. And being in London did actually mean brands contacting more to come places and go on a trip. So that's how I then grew myself on social media and my brand. We quickly got out of that flat lease within the 6 months. We were like, yeah, we do need to move. And we have still lived in some other dodgy areas in London in that first year, but we've very much found our feet now. We are nearly 4 years into living in London and we have the most gorgeous flat. And I think when you move to London, it is all about learning places where you actually want to be, starting from the bottom and working your way up. Unless you're from London and know London really well, it's really hard to move to London and get it right straight away. If you are thinking about moving to London, or if you have moved to London and you're not exactly where you want to be, ride it out. You're going to work things out. You're going to figure things out and you're going to find a place where you're really going to settle in the city. And I believe that's where I'm currently at now, in the city, really settled, living with Danny and the dog. And yeah, it's kind of now home. But for those I'd say for the first year or two, it really didn't feel like home at all. And I really had to work for it to feel like home. But yeah, I'm happy to now be able to call London a home and it feels really good. And that's how I am where I am today with content creation and also with my fitness as well. Because I was in London, like I was able to have access to run clubs and have access to new gyms and trying new things. High Rocks is in London. High Rocks isn't in Harrogate or Leeds. It wasn't accessible, I suppose, for me up there. So to come down here and to hear about High Rocks, that's how I then started running more and trying new things and getting fitter and getting stronger, and being in that fitness environment that I'm in today has helped me and shaped me to where I am today with my fitness. That's kind of how I've got to where I am today. I do think that jump and doing something that pushed me out of my comfort zone and seemed really scary at the time moving from Leeds to London has really shaped me into who I am today and is the reason why I am who I am today. I don't think I was in the right position in the right area in Leeds and in Harrogate to build a brand and to build socials. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying you can't do that when you live up north or if you live in a quieter area, because it absolutely is possible. But my niche and who I am as a person, I very much thrive in busier places. And when I am super busy, I'm a go, go, go girl. I need to be going all the time. So I really needed to find my environment to where I could grow, because I don't think living in a quiet town or living in Leeds that is a lot quieter than London was the right environment for me to be who I am, to grow that. I think my environment just played a massive part of growing me and shaping me into who I am today and helping me grow socials and helping me build myself as a brand and myself as a person. And in terms of fitness and where I want to go with fitness and where I want to take it in the future, I think it still isn't clear to me what I actually want to do with my fitness. I'm at a point now where I was speaking to someone the other day actually, and I feel like I'm at a point now where do I really want to take fitness really seriously, which wouldn't mean putting my content creation and socials on a back burner, but it would mean that I would create more content around being a fitness professional and being more in the athlete space. Or do I really want to go into the content creation side of things and just be good at fitness? I feel like I'm kind of at that place now where I'm like, what do you actually want? And I'm still trying to work that out. I'm only 25, so I have got a lot of years left to actually work that out and see where I want to go with that. I'm currently at the crossroads of, Paige, do you really want to take this lifestyle and this fitness thing really seriously? Because I believe I am at a good level where if I now put in the hours of training, got a really good coach and really pushed, I think I could be at a really good level. Or would I rather put my energy into content creation, growing my brand? So I'm really at that crossroads, and I don't know what to do there. And I'm not ashamed to say I don't know what to do. I feel like that comes across in my socials at the moment, where I'm like, I'm just stuck in a bit of a leeway at the moment of not knowing my direction now and trying to work out my direction, which is what I'm going to be doing over this next year. I'm going to be trying to work out where I'm at and what I want to do with my fitness and what I want to do with my brand, because I have a 5-year goal of moving back home, back out of the city, and like building hopefully a gym and building something physically. I don't want to talk too much about that and give information, which I don't want to tell you guys too much. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to tell you guys too much about my future, but I definitely know I want to move back home and build something physically without giving too much away. So it's just whether I want to dip into the content creation side of things or whether I really want to take the fitness to an elite level. I'm at that crossroad. I'm still trying to work that out, and that's absolutely fine. So that is my aim for 2025. I've got some really good races in the diary coming up. I am doing another half Ironman in July. I've got 3 Hyroxes. I've got Hyrox Worlds in June. I've got maybe Chicago Marathon at the end of the year. I've got Oxford Half Marathon. So I've got a lot coming up and I've got a lot of good races. I'm really, really excited to take you guys along on that journey and hopefully get better in the sport and find my feet and work out where I actually want to be over this next year. So just about what I just said about content creation and going into fitness and things, my aim really is to build a strong socials in terms of this podcast, in terms of YouTube, and in terms of Instagram, so that it really supports me with whatever direction I do take. If I go into content creation, I've got really solid, strong socials, I've got a solid audience, and you guys know I love being in content creation. I love being online, and I'm such a yapper and I'm an oversharer, which is great for the job. I really want the solid socials to do that, which is another reason why I started the podcast, is to talk to other people within the industry and also fitness professionals, and to also then help me work out what direction I want to take, and also to help you guys. I'm going to be asking questions for you guys to ask the professionals and, you know, the athletes and things, so you guys can learn about them and deep dive into their world if there's anything you guys want to know. Also, if there's anything or anyone that you want us to talk about or that you want us to deep dive into, I really want this podcast to be beneficial for you guys as well. So if there's any topic, any subject, or any person that you guys want to talk to, ask questions, do let me know, and we can hopefully deep dive into that as well and get them on the podcast and talk about those topics so that you guys are learning just as much as me. So hopefully from this episode, you've kind of got a bit of a background from me, and as much as I've hated talking about myself, which probably doesn't seem like it on camera, I do hate talking about myself. I'm very much is this the right word? I'm an extrovert, but I'm also an introvert. Is that right, Flo? Is that right? Like, I'm someone that hates attention, hates talking about themselves, but he's so outgoing and so loud and such a yapper. I'm an oversharer, but any attention focused on me, anyone singing happy birthday to me, anyone looking at me, anything that's just about me and everyone's eyes on me, like, no, I hate that, which is so crazy to say I'm someone that films myself all day, every day, and I'm oversharing. So I'm very much an extrovert introvert. So what I've just done then was very much out of my comfort zone. And yeah, it's not something I enjoy doing. However, hopefully you guys have got a bit more of an insight into who I am, how I am, who I am, and how I have got here today. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was episode 1 of the podcast. A lot of me yapping, and I promise some more exciting questions, some more exciting people, not just me, are going to be guests on the podcast. I'm really excited to deep dive into other people's journeys, other people's lives, and for you guys to ask the questions too. So strap in. Thank you for listening to episode 1, and I'll see you guys in episode 2. Yay! That's scary.